Have you ever thought, why do I suck at fantasy football? Welcome. This is the Commissioner Fantasy Football Podcast.
And welcome to the Commissioner Fantasy Football Podcast with your host Eric and Matt Vitale. What's up?
Hello.
We're back for part two.
Part two. Didn't think you'd bring me on for this one, but here we are.
Yeah, well, that game that happened yesterday that we never even, talked about, but I liked it. I know you didn't watch most of it.
I didn't. I decided to sleep, or at least tried to sleep. So for those of you who don't know, I'm currently in Europe, in Ukraine, and game started at like 3:25. Colorado. Oh, look at you.
Yeah,
supporting your new state.
Finally.
Congratulations to California for being dumb.
Yeah, I'm glad I got out of there when I did. So
Also, very racist of you guys for not voting for the black guy, because he was awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Shout out to Larry Elder. Keep going, hopefully. I don't know.
Hold on.
Okay, I was going to get into
Don't-
non-football stuff.
Let's talk about the game and all, because I watched the entire.
I didn't watch
thing.
the game, so I watched the vote stuff.
I watched the entire
recall.
game. I had time.
Mhm.
I focused. I watched Daniel Jones, even though he had a good fantasy outcome, didn't look good at times.
I don't know. I got up this morning. I opened the stats, and I was like,
See,
nice.
so this is where the thing that if you don't watch somebody play and then you kind of you only look at scores and that's all you pay attention to, it can be misleading. And the runs that he had some good runs. He could have had 100 yards. And I feel like if he continues to do that foundation for fantasy football, he's going to be great because he's got the Lamar foundation.
Well,
The problem, and I think the problem is they haven't let Barkley go yet. They kind of were limiting him week 1, week 2. And Barkley looked good at times, so that kind of was encouraging to me. So I'm gonna go try to trade for Barkley. But I'm saying it here, nobody's gonna trade me. So
got it. I'll give someone Connor for Barkley. It'd be a great deal.
no,
I know it's not going to happen, but
Yeah. Another good things about that game, Sterling Shepard, as I predicted, and I even told you to pick him up a long time ago. It looks like he's a little bit above Golladay. Golladay got into an argument with Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
He got into an argument with him because I think he's missing him. I think they're not connecting. I'm not off on Golladay. I love Golladay. I love his talent. Wait a few weeks. Let them just connect because they have weapons there. With Barkley coming back at full capacity, their O-line, I don't know if there was a bad injury with one of their their O-line guys. Ooh. The people on the TV, the news thing, they said,
The announcers?
broadcast said, like, we're not going to reshow it again.
Ooh.
It was that bad. So he got carted off.
Like Prescott bad, or was it his leg, or what was it?
Worst.
Wow.
Worst.
Ooh.
So one thing about Evan Ingram, their tight end's going to come back. Slane got involved. I think this might open up for Golladay. So if you're like a Golladay guy, don't drop Golladay. Hold him for a few weeks. From the Washington side, Heineke, the quarterback, looked pretty good. McLaurin was targeted. I think McLaurin had like 11 catches.
He did pretty well for fantasy too. Got like 20-something, 30.
Yeah, so he did well too. So that team, I think they're connecting together. The Gibson he looked decent at times. So don't give up on Gibson. But if you're looking for a player to trade for Gibson. He had 2 bad weeks. Go get him. Go get a Barkley. If you want Golladay, don't give up too much for Golladay at this point because we're not sure what's going to happen between him and Daniel Jones.
Got it.
But yeah, so I got a lot of good takeaway from that game. So.
Nice.
Sorry, to move on. Monday night, did you watch the Monday night game?
Monday night.
The Raiders and the Ravens.
No, I
good game.
I watched the recap. So I have NFL.
Oh yeah, the Game
season
Pass.
pass. So it does a thing where it cuts out all the lag time, and it's like a 50 minute version of the
Those
game.
are the best for watching. But the reason I brought it up, there's two different versions of an ESPN Monday Night Game. The regular version, and there's the Peyton Manning and Eli Manning sitting together and just talking about that game. So you're watching the game, and on the side you have their faces.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in Kelsey, they brought in Russell Wilson, they brought in someone else just to kind of
weird.
Dude, I thought it was gonna be weird. The best thing in the world. You get the input from the actual players, and they're pretty funny. The Mannings are funny. Peyton's funny. So, yeah, it was a delight. So if you guys have ESPN, if you can watch the game live, do it.
I wonder if they do that for the NFL sports package.
No, they wouldn't do that. That's ESPN. So that's probably part of their whole thing.
All right, let's kick it off with the Vikings and the Cardinals.
Yes. All right. Vikings. Jefferson had a bad game. Don't give up on Jefferson. I think it was a touchdown call back. Thielen impressed me. So as long as he's not injured, if you drafted Thielen like Vitala you did, and you believe in him, he should be good for PPR. I was skeptical. I thought he was going to be on the.
No, I think he's still got some life in him.
It looks like he does. So as long as he doesn't get injured, he's good. But I think because Irv Smith, their tight end, went down and they don't have nobody else, they're probably more relying on Thielen, that experience that him Cousins have. So that's a good thing to have. So I'm kind of like now I'm like I should have maybe drafted Thielen in one league. So, but
yeah, I'm glad I have him.
So start him. Start Jefferson, Cousins, two quarterback leagues. He probably will have a good game, but there's so many other options. So,
got it.
Dalvin Cook,
obviously, yeah. You got to bench him this week, right?
Yeah, bench Dalvin Cook. No.
All right. Let's talk about the Cardinals because I have a question.
Yeah.
Connor last week got like 12 or 19.
Did you watch the game? You watch the game? Okay.
No, that's what
So
go on.
This is where you need to watch the game.
All right. So Kyler Murray. No, we're talking about the Cardinals and Connor. So my question was, start, don't start, like what's going on with him? Because he had a decent amount of carries the first game, but I didn't watch it. It didn't seem like he did a lot with it. But
I cannot trust. But if you don't have a lot of options left, right? If you have two running backs and Connor's like your third, or is that what's going on? What's going on?
My problem is Jacobs is still questionable.
He's out. So I already posted like 2 hours ago on Instagram that they ruled him out. So, hey, we talked about it in the last episode. That's a good thing.
Well, it's a good thing because now
Well, for Jacobs too, but for your fantasy football, it's right. Yeah, so now you can make decisions. So now Connor becomes your RB2. Is that what we're talking about?
Yep. So he's the only other running back I have on roster that's worth starting.
Who's your other running backs?
Stevenson of
No,
obviously I'm not starting him.
He's almost a drop candidate. You could drop him to the waivers.
Yep. So gotta pick somebody up on the waivers. So it looks
or you can make a trade for a Singletary. Would you start Singletary or Connor?
What? Hold on. McKissick is available in their league?
J.D. McKissick, I dropped them before the game last night. I dropped him.
How dare you?
Because I wanted... Well, you couldn't have picked him up.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
He goes on waivers. The reason I dropped him was he might have had a good game, whatever, but I wanted to pick up somebody. Again, he's going to have those games like yesterday, J.D. McKissick, where all of a sudden they're behind a little bit trying to catch up and they're using him, and that's what they did. And he scored a touchdown. He got one big play. I think he got 90 receiving yards or something. So it's going to happen with him. But do you trust? I don't know. I'm done. I'm moving on. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm looking for better options. So Connor, he's a borderline start if you're in the situation like you are, unless you trade for Singletary if you want Singletary. But see, I wouldn't trade Singletary for Connor. So
I wouldn't trade Singletary for anyone.
I know, so I'm not proposing. So start Murray. Connor's a borderline start. Chase Edmonds, I want to see how they develop these two guys or how they being used week 2. Starts Hopkins. Hopkins looked good, man. That's another guy I was down on. He looked good.
Yeah, I got such a good deal on Hopkins in our
And
draft.
so the problem is now Christian Kirk
Hmm.
or Moore. One of the Moores. There's one. There's one in New York and there's one in Arizona.
Hmm.
I'll figure out. But Christian Kirk had two big plays, and Christian Kirk's going to come out and do that, right? He's going to have the two big explosive plays.
Hmm.
That's the thing that it's like I don't know what to do. So I'm not going to start Kirk. I am going to start Hopkins. And for the wide receivers, I am looking to see what they do with Christian Kirk and Randall Moore. Randall, that's his first name.
Hmm.
So, that's it.
Okay. All
Move on.
right. Falcons at the Bucks.
Falcons at the Bucks.
Mhm.
Falcons. Matt Ryan cannot start Matt Ryan. I'm not trusting him until I see more consistency. Now I'm scared for Ridley. That was a bad defense they were playing against. They couldn't do anything. So if you're a Ridley owner, like I am in like 3 leagues, I'm a little bit worried. Not too much, but there's a worry even about Kyle Pitts. They're trying to run the ball a lot. So that first half, they were trying to run the ball. They have a new offensive coordinator, the one that used to be in Tennessee. They ran the ball a lot. I think that's the
Are
team
you
you're talking
asking
about.
me or are you telling me?
I'm in my head. I'm talking to myself in my
Okay,
head.
because I'm like, you're asking the wrong guy here, bud.
Yeah, so Mike Davis might be a decent start, but they are playing the Bucks. So Ridley, and you got to start Pitts. You drafted Pitts, so you got to start both of them.
Yeah.
And for your Tampa Bay
Who
Buccaneers,
do you not start in Tampa Bay?
you can start like Jeff was asking me about Ronald Jones. One of my buddies asking Ronald Jones. You could probably start him, but I don't know. Bruce Arians came out and said Ronald Jones is the starter. He said that last year, and it didn't. So,
Yeah.
but you could start him, right? Because he could have that big one run against, especially the Falcons.
Mhm.
So, like I said,
Although
Tampa Bay.
Fournette looked pretty good last game. too.
No, Ronald Jones looked better.
Yeah.
He just has fumbling problems.
Mm.
So, but start everybody in the Bucks. Whoever you have in the Bucks, Gronkowski. Even I'll start Gronkowski, except OJ Howard.
Yeah.
But
All right. So
easy game.
Yeah. All right. Cowboys at the Chargers.
Yes, this is an interesting game. Oh. So almost for the Chargers. Oh man, you start Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams look good. Even Cooks, the tight end that they brought in, the famous tight end that's been everywhere. He's been in the pack. Yeah.
I've been everywhere.
If
man.
you're in a situation and you have a bad tight end or something, go get Cooks.
Mhm.
Sorry. Cooks.
Yeah.
I keep messing up the Cooks. Sorry. There's
No,
like
I
3 different
knew
Cooks.
who you meant. I'm
All
just
right,
bad with
Cook.
names.
Cooks, Brandon Cooks is the one, the wide receiver in Houston.
Mhm.
And the 2 Cooks are the running backs and the tight end. So
Got it.
that's not confusing.
You
And
think,
then Eckler,
Yeah. Go
you
on.
start. You start.
It's hard not to start him, I think.
It was weird that he wasn't getting any catches, but that's because probably they were trying to maybe ease him in.
Maybe. I don't know.
But you start Eckler. So everybody on that team is a good start.
All right.
Now-
And the question everyone's talking about, I mean, obviously you start Elliott, right?
Oh yeah, Elliott's a good start.
I mean, we're hoping he comes back strong from last
Yeah.
week.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's going to get a touchdown.
Mhm.
I'm almost banking on a touchdown to kind of bring him up. And I think if he has a couple of good runs, he might hit 100 yards.
Okay.
But if you have Lamb, you start Lamb. If you have Cooper, you start Cooper. If you have Dak, you start Dak. The tight end maybe Schultz, maybe. Right?
Maybe.
No, I'm
I don't know.
asking.
I don't know. You're asking me. We're here to ask
Well-
you, bud.
Well, because again, they're going up against the Chargers. They do what I'm thinking in my head. Michael Gallup is out.
Mhm.
He's out for like several weeks with an
Yeah,
injury.
like 4 more weeks. Or
So I'm
3
thinking,
more
are
weeks.
they going to just, teams, Chargers are not a bad defense. Are they going to rely on Cooper and Lamb now? Or was Lamb and Cooper getting all those targets? Because remember the beginning of that game, Gallup
Mhm.
was the guy.
Oh yeah, I was getting excited because he's on my roster.
And then he goes down and gets injured. And so
So sad.
I really want to see what they're going to do because Blake Jarwin. Sorry, not Schultz is the backup. Blake Jarwin. That's what I was. I couldn't get his name in my head. He might be a decent start just because Dak likes to use three weapons, and if Cooper is being double teamed or Lamb, which teams now can do without Gallup. Gallup is good. Gallup is a great player. And he showed
who's
it last
replacing
week.
him? Wilson, right?
So they have a bunch of different guys that they brought in. I think they brought in. I think.
I think
no.
Cedric Wilson's replacing him.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then somebody else also. But Dak Prescott also likes his tight ends, so that's why I'm kind of Blake Jarwin might be.
We talk about Noah Brown.
Maybe Brown. Yeah, Brown caught some pass. I can't remember. I have to look back, but I can't remember who caught some other passes.
No,
when
Brown
Gallup
had
left.
0 points last week.
Never mind then. I forgot. But yeah, so Blake Jarwin's a good, decent start.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Titans at the Seahawks.
Look, if you had Derrick Henry, just like I had Derrick Henry in one league, start him. It was one of those games. Start Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, even Julio Jones.
Who's got Henry and our league?
Tannehill.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Brian, right? Yeah.
Yes, Brian.
Yeah.
Brian has. Yeah, I think he kept him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Henry.
I think this is a good game for them to come back, for the Titans to come back. Seattle's defense is not stellar. They're good, but they're not great, and Tennessee's gonna want to show some fight. And this is a fighting team, so
Okay.
easy starts.
What about the Anthony Frisker, their tight end?
No, wait to see if Julio goes down, and AJ Brown. You know how like Julio goes down and they don't have.
Yeah.
He might be a red zone target, but
Okay.
not right now. Not with Julio and.
So Brown, Julio, and Henry.
Those are like two tight ends.
Who? Oh,
AJ Brown and
Yeah.
Julio.
Yeah, they're big. They're big dudes.
And then you put Derrick Henry there. So, all right.
All right. Let's talk about Seattle.
Easy.
Well,
Again, Wilson, Carson, Metcalf,
Lockett.
and Lockett. Now the question is their tight ends ever got the touchdown. Disley had more targets. Will Disley, the country guy.
How?
If you want to start Everett thinking he's going to get another touchdown, that's again a lot of tight ends. That's what they're dependent on is a touchdown. So I wouldn't start either.
Okay. All right, and our final game.
No, Sunday night and then Monday night. Don't forget my pack.
I forgot. Chiefs at the Ravens. I overlooked that for some reason.
This should be a good game. I can't wait to watch this one. I think, look, Lamar had a bad game. He didn't look great, but he still gave you great fantasy, just like Daniel Jones did on Thursday night.
Shout out to Daniel Jones.
Here's the thing. Okay, let's go over quickly. Marquise Brown. I think he's back. I think if you don't have to start him, don't start him.
He seemed good this year compared to whatever they were doing with him last year. It looked like a completely different player.
You know why? Because they had Brian Edwards. They had Gus Edwards. They had Gus Edwards last year. They had J.K. Dobbins. They had Ingram. They don't have those guys anymore. So those options are gone. So I think that's why Marquise Brown was a focal point. Andrews had a bad game. He had a bad drop. He could have had a little better game. Don't give up on Andrews. He's fine. The question is Tyson Williams, the running back. Everybody was high on him. He's like the only guy there. Murray took over. The reason Murray took over, Williams couldn't block. He missed a bunch of blocks. He made a bunch of mistakes. I think one of the sacks was because he couldn't. At times, I literally watching this running back like blocking air, like he didn't know what to do, where to go. And if that's what the coaching staff is seeing, I'm not going to trust him this week. I picked him up and like everybody else in a bunch of leagues, but I want to see what they're going to do because they signed Freeman. Devonta Freeman is now part of the team. He was on the sidelines with the Le'Veon Bell, but now he's on the roster. He might be practicing this week.
3 years ago, if someone told you that Le'Veon Bell and Devonta Freeman would
Latavius Murray too
would both be on practice teams and pretty much not starting,
or be on the same team.
Be on the same team and not be one of them, not be the starter. I mean, is that something you could believe?
Well, yeah, because they're getting older. If you told me 3 years from now,
Freeman's 27, Is he not?
Well, but his time came when he was young. So,
Oh, and
but
Bell's 29.
yeah, yeah. So that whole backfield got to kind of this is going to be an interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City, you know who to start, right?
Well, I guess you can start Patrick Mahomes. Just be careful. You know, he might
Yeah,
get you
careful
more
with him.
points than you want.
Look, Ravens defense is banged up. So
Yeah.
even McCole Hardman might be
I mean,
like a long shot start.
CH is a good start, right? This week.
Yeah, yeah. There looks like they're using him, so I would trust him. You
And
drafted him
obviously,
early.
I mean, you're going to have to bench Tyreek Hill, right?
Oh yeah, bench Hill, bench Kelsey. Nah, start them all. Start them all.
Besides Hill and Kelsey, do you think anyone else is going to get the ball?
That's what I said.
That-
Miko Hardman. Miko Hardman might be in line for a big game.
I have him in one league. I don't know.
So if you like
Last
have
week
those,
he didn't look good. He was in not a
here's
lot of snaps. He was
here's my thing. I always kind of said this. If Thursday night a bunch of guys went off on you, and
Mhm.
you're even in the mornings, right? The morning games, and you're losing,
Yeah.
and you need a big play. Save Miko Hardman for your flex, and if you need a miracle, he could be a
hope for the
miracle.
best.
He's that guy who could give you a miracle.
Mhm.
So
And Tyreek Hill looked good. Jeez.
yeah, he's all right. Last game.
All right. Last
Monday
game. Lions at the Packers. Dun dun dun.
If you gave up on the Packers, and if you gave up on them,
Gave up.
Rodgers, Devonta Adams,
Mhm.
and Aaron Jones, and even AJ Dillon should be better. Because if they go up big, AJ Dillon will take the bulk. He'll run some.
Is Randall Cobb even playing?
Dude, I don't know. I didn't see him. He
We-
was on the field.
Who
but-
did you trade for? We did a trade, right?
Yeah, David Johnson. I already dropped Randall Cobb. I'm done. I'm like, I need room.
Thanks.
Because
bud.
I don't want to. Dropping David Johnson was a little harder
yeah.
than dropping Randall Cobb.
Well, David Johnson was still starting or playing at least.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
for
I'm
me,
surprised
like on my
Cobb
dynasty
was-
league,
Yeah, I didn't see Cobb out there at all. I don't know if he had any touches.
MVS is the guy who might
he,
have.
he had
Yeah, no, he was there. He was
he had a
active.
rushing.
They were the whole team was off.
Okay.
So don't look back at that game and hey, let me learn something now. Marcus Valdez Scantling, MVS, he's like a Mecole Hardman this week. So if you need that boom start and you have him on your bench,
Yeah.
and you're behind on Sunday, you're falling behind, somebody's going off on you, that's another guy that's throwing. I think he could.
What about Lazard?
Rogers missed him a couple of times. For the Lions, start
Hold
Swift.
on. What about Lazard?
Mm,
I mean, towards the end of last year, he looked good. What's
he's a
going on?
PPR guy, but I don't know with Randall there. I don't know. No.
And
no
what about
way.
Tonya?
No. Tanyan, no. Robert Tanyan, I'm not gonna. He's okay. Last year, the reason he was tight end 4 or 5 was because he had touchdowns every single game and sometimes 2,
Mm-hmm.
which that's rare. So you're chasing a touchdown with him. He doesn't give you anything else.
Got it.
That's it.
All right. So with the Lions, what are we
Swift.
looking at?
Swift and Hawkinson. That's it.
What about Jamal Williams?
It looks like he has some injury going into Monday night. So look into that. And if they're behind, they're gonna trust Swift. If it's like in reach, the game is like, they're up 14.
Mhm.
They've been passing it to Swift. The reason Jamal Williams did so well, he was playing against the backups. And the 49ers gave up. So that's the reason. So this is gonna be a different type of game.
Because I see ESPN's ranking him higher now.
They are. Well, again, I don't trust ESPN rankings. That's number one.
Yeah.
But again, the game script was very different. Though, if the Packers go up big time, they're not going to let go like the 49ers did. Packers want to show off. The Packers want to come back and just feel good about themselves the entire 4 quarters.
Yeah.
So this is a game where if the Packers struggle, then there's concern. But if they're not struggling, they're dominating the Lions. They're everything. So, it's hard. I wouldn't trust Jamal, but he could have a good game. Like, 'cause Swift has injury concerns too. So,
Got it.
yeah.
All right. Anyone else?
That's it. That's it for week 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, week 2 in the books. Well, at least our who to start, not to start segment. Anything
Well,
to,
it's basically
to
a
say?
start.
Yeah. Anything you want to say to these fair people, all
Look,
our 4 listeners, before
week
they go
2
into week 2?
Yes. Week 2 is the week to really pay attention to those concerns that you have from week 1, because if those concerns continue, then now you're like, uh-oh. Okay.
Now there may be a problem.
There may be a problem. So, and I still will give another week, but these are the weeks to really focus on, especially week 2 right now, because yeah.
All right, you heard it from the commissioner, guys. Until next time, I'm Matt Vitali, and that's Eric, the commissioner. I don't know. I thought you were going to say something there, bud.
Dude, you better not be sleeping after that podcast. That was an amazing message. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Commissioner. Also subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Any comments, questions, concerns, send them to the Instagram page, The Commissioner, your fantasy football guide.